Hello, and um, so this is my first post on, well, here. Um, mm, I wasn't hoping to post it, but anyways, that's right. Long story. Welcome to my channel. Sorry, that was a kind of rough start, wasn't it? Um, I'd like to introduce myself quickly. So my name's Jose Starman. This is my name here. Whatever. Um, I've done this before. I don't know why I'm like feeling this, but I'd like to introduce the fact that I do specifically my bread and butter is microastrology. So, because I noticed that a lot of astrologers did not do not really use asteroids that often. I do, however, in my readings. I mean, I use like over 180 of them, and that's not really about showing off. It's more like I just discovered that if I can go into the details without having to interpret some of the planets based on, what many astrologers do. I find that they base it on, yeah, there's a vocabulary, there's a lingo that astrology uses. With asteroids, what I do is it gives me the specific details that I need to know right off the bat because I've done like extensive research on over the 180. I mean, we're talking like one asteroid is like literally about maybe 4 to sometimes 6 pages long, single space. And so I have this thing that I have that it's just, yeah. So an example would be here. So many of you probably already know, and those who don't know, that's totally fine. That right now Pluto has been since, I believe, what was the date specifically? Back in 2024, I believe, or is it 25? Last year when Pluto fully went into Aquarius. And usually that signifies really inner core changes, power struggles between people, shifting really to the core, genuine like we're talking like upheaval because it's shifting really to the core of our subconscious, our conscious, and our form. Because um, Pluto rules garbage, waste, viruses, bacteria, Um, it's all about power struggles, rape. It also includes anything related to trauma. So a lot of people have been experiencing that. That includes also things, little things like, for example, like waste management in a general sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you right now. So we have currently several planets in a stellium. For those who don't know what a stellium is three planets or more conjunct to each other, like right beside each other. Okay. I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here. Um, okay, here we go. Why am I getting that one? That's weird. uh, which one is it? I can't seem to find a specific window to open. You think I would know this, but anyways, no. Okay, so I'm just gonna share this screen. Um, it's so strange. Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna share this screen. So you see here Diana retrograde. How are we for time? I hope we're okay for time. I can't really see the time here. Diana is conjunct Mercury and all that stuff. So what happens is that Diana is I my based on my research with Diana, Diana is sorry, 1 second here. Come on. Diana is tied to protection, survival. So she's really about the light and dark, duality of things, being kind of royalty, that kind of feeling like sovereign. Okay, she's about service and freedom, taker and giver roles kind of things. She's the one, she represents firstborns, but typically things that are first and then to also die last. So she's kind of like all the way to the end. She represents that. Light at the end of the tunnel, timelessness. So she's kind of like fourth dimensional. things, formlessness, celestial things, being wild also, or tame actually. She's about serving and protecting. So police is included here. Purity, sanctity, sacredness, sacred spirituality, sexuality, self-preservation. So women's rights, virginity, that kind of stuff. Really like sacred things, sacred sites as well. Feminism, femininity, autonomy, gender equality, protection, protecting women and children. So she's also, I noticed this when I was doing my research, she kind of represents pro-life versus pro-choice. So anything to do with birth. Single mothers as well, single parenthood, inner child. Okay, the yin and yang sort of opposites. Again, kind of ties back to what I said earlier. Full cycles. So that's why firstborn by last. That's what I wrote here. Beginning to end. Also daily cycles, night and day. Embracing your inner feminine, inner nature, countrysides. This is tied to countryside because it's in Aquarius. I feel like this is tied to a lot of people. This is tied to society, social groups, friends, friendships, friend circles, circles themselves, collectives of any kind. This includes high mountains, nature, that's very Aquarius, mountain peaks, forests, woods, lighthouses, flashlights as well. So something to do with um, being the guide kind of thing, like you being kind of the center. That's with the whole sovereignty thing, being kind of like the light in the dark. She's tied to the moon, so naturally, yes. Instinctive understanding, privacy, chastity, belt. So again, about chastity, right? That makes sense. Menstruation cycles, moods and emotions, inaccessible and or remote places, hunters, wildlife, childbirth, deliveries, crossroads, and the night. So he's basically like he's pretty much like the moon. But the difference is that there are certain things that it's like, for example, sacredness, um, virginity. That's not kind of like the moon thing, but she's also represents like if we're talking about other things like let's say we go into medical astrology, something to do with people's bellies, the reproductive system, vagina. Um, numbers noted note no, numbers of note for her is number 6, which is actually the home, which is numerology. That's the home. Um, so she's tied to that one. There's a bunch of other things too. So that's an example of what I do when it comes to um, this whole thing with what I like to coin as microastrology. Okay. She's also tied to certain days, like Monday, Tuesday together, Monday, Tuesday, Saturday together. Okay. There are several days of note. Right now, there isn't one that's close to this date. March 3 is coming up. That's International Women's Day. So she's tied to that as well. All girls organizations, she's also part of that. Any sort of all girls organization or all women's organizations, institutions, Girl Scouts. Okay, I kind of said that earlier. Uh, Underworldly places as well. She's part of that. Private baths or home bathrooms, lagoons. I'm not sure about that one. Places that are of note are Canada's boreal forest. So Australian deserts, the Zambezi Valley, Botswana, Namibia, Tanzania, Bhutan, Zimbabwe, Norway, Central African Republic, uh, Zambia, Rwanda, anywhere inaccessible or remote as well. So that's an example of what I do. I could go on in terms of like if I were to do a reading itself. I'm gonna stop sharing that here. If I were to do a reading itself, like connect the dots, it goes long. Astrology readings are quite long, but we only have about 10 minutes here. So this is my little thing. I'm gonna do more posts. So that was that for the sort of Pluto thing, but I wasn't going into Pluto, I was going to Diana, right? So this is microastrology. It goes into a um, lot of detail. So my readings can go up to 6 hours. That's the longest I've done. It's really long. But you're not going to fit it in here. But it's just too much. But if you have any questions about any of these things, let me know. See you guys later.